He's been a sidekick, a leader, and even Batman himself. But with so many different Robins in Gotham's history, from Dick Grayson to Damian Wayne, which one truly embodies the tragic hero's journey? Which fits Robin the best? Prepare to have your perceptions challenged as we dive deep into the evolution of Batman's most iconic partners. Everyone knows Robin is Batman's loyal sidekick, right? Think again. This video uncovers the shocking truth and devastating personal struggles behind each iteration of Robin, proving that sometimes the greatest heroes are forged in the most tragic circumstances. You won't look at the boy wonder the same way after this. Which Robin do you stand with? The legacy of Robin is far more complex than just a colorful costume and a few batarangs. Join us as we meticulously break down every version of this legendary character, from their triumphs to their heart-wrenching falls, and decide once and for all, who's the best Robin? Dick Grayson, or Nightwing, from starting off as one of the members of the Flying Graysons, with both his parents passing away tragically, being taken in by Batman, or Bruce Wayne you could say, with him eventually finding out on his own that Bruce Wayne was Batman, then becoming Batman's first Robin. He is the most popular Robin. Most fans like him the most. But, of course, it's for good reason. He has both the tragic backstory, but is motivated to do good. As Robin, he can be immature, goofy, but relatable and genuine. He's honest and always bees himself. While when he's Nightwing, he's much more experienced and he's at the peak of how skilled he is as a fighter. Arguably now, the most skilled Robin in terms of how great of a fighter he is. When he was Robin, though, definitely was not the best Robin in terms of his fighting ability. He's quick and pretty intelligent, very understanding to people, especially after what happened to his parents. He wants to make sure that he can help save others. He's somebody that doesn't really give up and always sees the positive side to things, which of course is great because Batman's always surrounded by negativity, so he will have a positive impact on Batman. Personality-wise, Nightwing was a great Robin, but in terms of how intelligent he was, how skilled he was, experienced in terms of just life, he wasn't that great. Even how great his storyline was, it being so meaningful that he was the first Robin, it doesn't necessarily mean he was the best. Setting the standard and what it meant to be Batman's sidekick and to be Robin, being a big part of creating the reputation being Robin gets. Often seen as the classic take on the character and how future Robins should try to be like. Jason Todd, also known of course as the Red Hood, first stole the wheels off the Batmobile and Batman caught him. He ended up becoming Robin, deep down being good, being more brutal and wild than Grayson. His career came to an end as Robin when Joker beat him with a crowbar and left him in a warehouse to pass away in a huge explosion before Batman could save him. Jason is definitely the most troubled Robin, but he's a strong-minded person who is confident and determined. Unlike Grayson, he was much more likely to snap and not go easy, be more hard on criminals. Also, tended to hold more grudges, but also, unfortunately, focusing much more on the negative side of things than Grayson as well. He had a good mindset and was a pretty skilled fighter when he was Robin. Of course now, as the Red Hood, he's much better, but as Robin, I would say he was the better fighter than Nightwing was as Robin. He was intelligent in terms of street smarts. He's someone Batman could trust since he doesn't back down from criminals much. He's somebody who's more of the confronting type, sometimes having quite a bit of rage, especially with after what happened with the Joker. I think he gave a great experience to Batman for Batman to learn from, but due to some of the minor flaws Jason had as Robin, it would have always led to chaos. He was much too destructive. If he had a more calm and trying to understand personality, maybe Batman could have helped him more get past those problems he was dealing with, but overall, he would not have been the best long-term Robin. His confidence, fighting skills, and confronting personality, though, is what really stands out positively for his Robin, is what leads to his success. I feel like though he is missing that more emotionally stable positive side of Robin too much to be considered ideal. Tim Drake or Red Robin, him along with Alfred and Nightwing all convinced Batman to let him be Robin. Tim Drake is extremely smart. He can be the most intelligent Robin in some different ways. He's a great detective and very similar to Batman, having a more calm and logical personality. He tries to understand, be open-minded, and helpful, though he can definitely have a meaner side against villains. He's a decently skilled fighter as Robin. Definitely not the most skilled Robin in terms of his fighting ability though. He's patient and doesn't really have a short temper, especially when compared with Jason Todd. Tim would probably be one of the best people to become Batman. Also, I feel like he's more strategic than the other Robins as well. Pretty well-rounded and good in some ways that the other Robins aren't really usually as skilled in. Trained by Batman, and he's kind of more than just a sidekick. He's more so just Batman's partner, makes Robin his own superhero that is not just looked as that sidekick that Batman has, but much more capable on his own. Not just assisting Batman as backup, but more so someone on his level. Cautious at times, aware. Still though, he kind of lacks in some areas that Robin as a character is known for. Even though he's great in some of these ways that the other Robins aren't, I feel like for the Robin character, it doesn't necessarily matter as much because that's not really what the character's strengths are supposed to be. Plus, you could argue with the storyline he got becoming Robin is just not as good as the other Robins, with some people not being able to connect to that as much as what they've seen before. Damian Wayne, he's the real son of Batman, became Robin due to Talia al Ghul showing Batman Damian, and Batman finding out that he was even his own son after so many years. But Damian, of course, was trained by the League of Assassins since so young, was a very skilled fighter, also intelligent for his age. Damian wanted to become Robin, and Robin he became. When it comes to his fighting ability as Robin, it's extremely impressive. He is the most skilled fighter out of all the Robins when comparing to the others when they were Robin. He also seems to be the smartest for his age and smarter than all the other Robins, you could argue, when they were Robin. Of course, when it comes to intelligence and which was smartest as Robin, it's arguable between him and Tim. He has a really strong mindset. He's extremely confident and bold, can even be arrogant at times, which some people of course find him annoying from, especially since he knows so much at his age, has went through experiences that many people his age have never went through, also a lot of experiences most adults have never been through. He lacks the silly and goofy personality and traits that Robin usually has. Very determined, goes after what he wants. You could argue he's too serious to fit the Robin character, but I feel like it's fine due to him actually being Batman's son, his interesting storyline, and the way he was brought up, just how impressive he is for his age, what he's able to do. He also changes over time, since at first he wasn't very patient with most people and didn't really like dealing with most nonsense. A lot of things just came off as dumb or pathetic to him. He did slowly become nicer though once Batman took him in. Now, between each of the Robins, all four of them, if I had to choose the best, I would first of all have to take two immediately out from being the possible best. That would be Jason and Tim. Jason lacks the mentally stable personality, and even though he has a lot of the other Robin traits, he's just not overall that strong in some of them. And the reason for Tim is since I feel like his story and how he became Robin was not that interesting. He could have been a better fighter, and at times can just be a little too boring for the character. For between Nightwing and Damian, you could of course go with the fan favorite, the most popular one, the classic Robin, what Robin was built around to be known for, and of course this wouldn't be wrong. However, I feel like Damian has a lot that actually is better than what Nightwing had when he was Robin. Damian's fighting ability, his confidence, the fact that he was trained trained from such a young age by the League of Assassins. However, he's even Batman's real son. Now, I feel like could go either way. It really is up to your own opinion, which one you think's better. I believe for most people, that would be Nightwing, but for me, that would be Damian. Nightwing's more like a version of Batman that embraces the light and is always focusing on positivity, whereas Damian, he's a confident, impressive, dangerous, logical young Robin. So it really just comes up to which one you prefer for the traits that they're stronger in. And then of course, if we had to say when they were Robin, because when Nightwing was Robin, he wasn't Nightwing yet. Damian, he's just overall so much more skilled and experienced. If they happened to go up against each other in a fight, Damian would have won. With them both being Robin, Batman would also get a lot more help when dealing with villains. When Damian is Robin, Damian would be able to get much more done. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Who is the best Robin and why? How would you rank them? Do you think that Nightwing was the best Robin, or do you think that Damian is? Which Robin do you think fits the character the best? Guys, remember to subscribe and to turn on notifications. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in another Cosmic Chaos video. Bye!